Honorable members, we have quorum. I will ask the member for Menyama to lead us in prayer.
Thank you. Our gracious God, Mipla, thank you, Lord, life where you give him, Lord, Mipla, Lord, live, Lord, this day. Thank you, Lord, you bringing Mipla, come save day, Lord, house, Lord, people, Lord, you. Also representative, Lord. Mipla, come inside, Lord, Mipla, like discussing on work, Lord, country, na issues, Lord, country. Mipla, asking you, Lord, you stop, Lord, Mipla. Time Mipla starting this year 2024, Mipla, put him, you go pass. Thinking lo Mipla put him lo hand you, Mipla put him speaker, lo hand you, lo lead him. Discussions lo Mipla inside lo this year. Mipla ask him you, bless him Prime Minister lo Mipla ask him you, lo gada opposition leader lo Mipla put him lo hand you, Mipla ask him you, lo bless him all ministers lo Mipla, governors lo Mipla, lo honorable leader lo this house. You give Mipla survey, Mipla ask him you. Lo you give him thinking lo Mipla put him all people lo you go pass. When Mipla represent him you and make him this on their behalf. So Mipla ask him you lo this day, lo by you go pass, Lord. Proceedings lo this day. Or same na Mipla gata work boom one time na Mipla can bring him country lo Mipla go forward. One kind lo this day Mipla ask him. You all leaders, Mipla, Mipla house, Lobung thinking one time, Mipla talking prayer where Jesus said, "L'animal disabled, blame our Father who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our
trespasses,
as we forgive those
who trespass against us.
and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom,
The power and glory, forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen. Honorable members, I have to inform the Parliament that I have received a letter from Honorable Joseph Lelang, member for Kendry and Gloucester, dated 12 February 2024. He has resigned as the leader of the opposition and decided to sit in the backbench of the opposition. Honorable members, I present the order of the National Court of Justice dated 5th January 2024 in a matter of disputed written for the Aitapel Lumi Open electorate, EP number 23 of 2022, between Mr. Patrick Proitz, petitioner, and Mr. Anderson Mais, first respondent, and the Electoral Commission of Papua New Guinea, second respondent, which order that the petition is upheld. 2. The election of the first respondent as the successful candidate for Aitapel Lumi Open electorate is, on account of the bribery he had committed, declared void. The second respondent shall conduct a by-election for the Aitapel Lumi Open electorate. The petitioner's 5,000 kina scrutiny deposit shall be refunded forthwith. The first respondent shall pay the petitioner cost of this petition to be taxed on the party and party basis is not agreed. The time for the entry of this order is abridged. Honorable Honorable members, I have to inform the Parliament that I have, in accordance with Section 110 of the Constitution, certified 17 legislation made by the National Parliament. A list of this legislation will appear in today's minute of the proceedings. Clerk, petitions, notices. Honorable members, question time. The Honorable Governor for New Ireland.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I want to give notice that I will table a law to alter the Constitution to make provision to grant autonomy to the provinces and for the transfer of functions and powers and for related purposes. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I give notice that I will table an organic law to implement Part 9 of the autonomous government of the Constitution by providing for the arrangement in the establishment of an operation of autonomous government, the transfer of functions and powers, and its fiscal regime, and for its related purposes. Mr. Speaker, I also give notice that I will table a law to alter the Constitution to make provision to remove the ownership of hydrocarbons and minerals from the state and for related purposes.
The Honorable Governor for New Ireland. Sorry, I interrupt you. The Speaker have already overruled that there will be no notice given to the clerk, and I've already asked for a question time, and we're already in the end of questions, so I would not recognize to get the motion. So I will now ask for question time because I've already called for question time. The Honorable Member for Northeast.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. My question without notice, I wanted to direct to the Minister for Police, Defense, CIS, but since it's a multiple, all combined together, I would rather ask Prime Minister on this question without notice. My question without notice regarding Black Wednesday on the 7th or 10th January. Destruction caused in the city. A lot of damages in the city, metropolitan city. Can the Prime Minister tell the nation, this Parliament, to provide an update on the progress of the investigation on the Black Wednesday? Number one. Number two, how do you plan to address the issue of payroll glitch that causes the payroll of our public servants in our country? And a lot of public servants are facing hardship on this payroll. Number three, can you elaborate on the measures of our government is taking to address this issue of our soldiers, our policemen, and our CIS stand-up to participate in this destruction and demolition in the city? What are the measures that this government is planning to take? Number four, since a lot of damages in the city, and a lot of business houses has been affected. So what a government plan to assist the business houses in terms of benefits so that they can rebuild what has been destroyed in our city. Number 5, what are the other measures you are going to take those people who are involved? Because in a computer, when what we put in, what we get, the output. So there must be people involved in the payroll glitch. So what are the steps that we are going to take on those people who are involved? Mr. Speaker, with that I want to thank my people of Mosby Northeast for not actively involved in destruction in my electorate, because I physically drive around. No glass up, clear glass, everybody sees me. And I wish a lot of members to be like that too. So, my question ends here, but thank you again, people of Mosby Northeast, for understanding and not cause any distraction, because Mosby Northeast is heart of the city. Parliament, organ assembly, a lot of commercial areas, industrial areas, it's not affected. Sabosem Tachim, Mosby City is finished. So on that note, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Those are my 4 questions.
The Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Milak Togamu Maslong, member of Mosby Northeast. I'll ask him for this question in relation to the ugly Wednesday. Some say Black Wednesday, I call it ugly Wednesday. The unfortunate event that happened on the 10th of January this year. You don't resort to lawlessness to achieve something that you feel is worthy to be pursued. Unfortunately, what happened, certain members of our police force decided not to be at work on the 10th of January because of our pay. Some use the word glitch, but the correct wording is that non-configuration. It was not a systematic glitch up there in the system, rather it was non-configuration of the budget documents that we passed last year when we delivered our budgets for 2024. And so because of this, policemen who felt their salary was not updated, rather they saw a little bit of deduction in their salaries. It reverted back, and needless to repeat, but because this is the first time this question is asked on the floor of Parliament, just to inform everyone formally through the parliamentary questions, I just want to indicate to our country, our government, in respect to the hardships our people are facing as a result of inflation, result of the economy that is not so good out there, we deliberately made intervention to remove tax from the lower income wage earners. The last time a substantial increase was made was by ourselves. 2 years ago, we increased to 17,500. It was increased from earlier threshold that was established almost 10 years ago at 12,500. So from a 12,500 non-tax paying threshold, it was increased to 17,500 in 2 years. 2 years ago, later increased to again 20,000 last year. And in last year's budget documents for this year, we decided to lock in and make permanent the 20,000 non-tax paying threshold. Unfortunately, someone at Treasury, Finance, FLC, and even here at the Parliament, from indications of report, the budget bills were not properly progressed, and the imputations of the 20,000 non-tax paying threshold was not updated, and the system reverted back to the default in the system that was at 12,500. So in the default 12,500 non-tax paying threshold, around 60 kina worth of what could have been revenue earned as a result of government's tax holiday to our people, that 60 kina was removed, and it went back to the level they were enjoying only 3 years ago. Only 3 years ago, they were operating, or they were earning salary at that level. So the revert went back to the salary they were earning 3 years ago. And since then, we have rebooted the system. I made commitment at the morning when this issue was presented at the gather of police at Unagi Oval. The police minister, or then internal security minister, fronted up at Unagi Oval by himself, assured our police personnel that this pay issue is being addressed or will be addressed, and he gave instructions for them to report to work and go back to work. Unfortunately, those instructions were made in the presence of our city command and metropolitan command, our national capital and central command, our metropolitan command, and every other command, but the command did not restore police back to work for almost the next 6 to 7 hours. And that 6 to 7 hours was sufficient for mayhem to grow in our city. And as a result, we know we have received reports that 480 million kina worth of loss took place in that few hours of mayhem. And I did apologize to members of our business community, those who are presently facing loss of employment, the business community who are facing loss of business. I want to give assurance to them through this question, as I did this morning in the address to PNG Business Council, Back to Breakfast Business this morning, Back to Breakfast seminar this morning. I did inform them that government has a paper prepared to come to cabinet. We are almost there. In fact, we were in cabinet this morning, but time ran out of us for the cabinet to be concluded. We have moved the cabinet to Wednesday. And in the Wednesday cabinet, we would have announced, or will be announcing, packets that cabinet will approve, subject to cabinet approval, of course, full assistance package to the business communities who have faced the loss of business, and hopefully in that assistance they could also address Papua New Guineans who are facing the loss as a result of not at work or loss of work. I want to also assure the country that the administrative inquiry investigation into this matter is also completed. In the first stage, a report will come to Parliament, to Cabinet also on Wednesday. When the report comes, I'll be able to also make a statement to Parliament on the fullest assessed costs from an administrative perspective and the administrative responses we are taking. But the immediate response we took right away, I think the country knows by now, a couple of responsible department heads were suspended from duty as we went in to have a look at what's happened in finance, treasury, as well as in the police, in terms of the acting commissioner who was watching our police at the time. Furthermore, decisions are to be taken based on the administrative report that is coming in. I want to also indicate police will still be running their criminal investigation to go deeper into what has taken place. It is not going to be like what took place in 2018 when Parliament House was attacked. You must have some level of decorum and respect for institutions of state that will live beyond present leadership. Parliament House will live on and must live on. The seat of government will live on and must live on. If you're not happy with one or two of us, there are other ways to get around the corner. There are other ways to get around the corner. You don't have to break law to achieve what you feel needs to be achieved. Breaking law to settle a dispute is not the way we should be operating in modern Papua New Guinea. Rather, industrial dispute processes and other avenues are available for those who feel they have industrial related issues. I want to indicate to all our all our people, that in the investigation that is running, those who have little contribution, if not, are not involved in this, needless to fear. It is a process that is running. Cabinet has also, in an earlier decision, we've called for a commission of inquiry by a sitting judge to look into the entire police operation that we have right now. So a commission of inquiry will be headed by a judge. At the moment, our Attorney General is asking our Chief Justice to allocate a judge, and a judge will look into the entire police operation. It was a fall on the leadership of police. It was a fall on the work of police. The 10th of January, instead of working, they decided to be off duty. As a result, the burning and looting took place in certain areas. That is why state feels responsible. State which is supposed to pay, who's paying the police to be at work. Instead of police working, they were off duty. And our state take it upon ourselves, our responsibility to have assistance and address to those who lost businesses. I want to also thank the greater part of our city. When we talk about the losses, we also forget that big majority of the city were not involved in this mayhem. We forget this. We think everyone is bad. The few who were involved in ransacking certain parts of our city were encouraged by the non-presence of police in those areas. But the same commendations, in the same breath we accuse those who were looting, we must also praise 9 Mile, 8 Mile, downtown, Malaro, Gordons, Boroko, Hohola, Erima, other parts of our city, all the way. That one day, about 10 hours, police was not at work. We have evidence when the command went silent and when command came back to life in police radio. One day, almost 10 hours, police was not at work. While some parts were looting, the citizens of this country came out in defense of their suburb, of their store, of their community. That story is not told properly. I want to thank the citizens of Port Moresby. You respected your municipal leadership, you respected your country leadership, you respected your society, and you protected the society. I want to thank every ordinary Papua New Guineans. When in the first time in the nation's history in Port Moresby, 10 hours, the total police in the city was not at work. Citizens protected their space in our city. And I want to also thank few good policemen who went up and about to try to assist. And police came back to work at 10 o'clock in the night. Around that time, it was almost late in certain areas, but it is what it is. We will investigate, and I want to give commitment to this House. I want to give commitment to our country. We will not allow ill discipline in our police force. We will not allow ill discipline in our defense. We will not allow ill discipline in our CIS. Once you swear oath to defend the state, self-preservation is lost. Simple as that. When you swear oath to defend the state, you have lost self-preservation. The industrial pathways relating to pay issues, don't go to the street, don't go to a protest march. You might lose your salary, you might lose your employment. That is the path we are moving towards. Police Commissioner, Defense Commander, CIS Commissioner has been asked to get all enlisted today to swear an oath again to the state, that state comes first and self comes last. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, the Honorable Governor for Morobe.
Deputy Speaker, I thank you for giving me the leave to ask the supplementary question to the Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the disciplinary forces are supposed to defend this country at all times. They're not supposed to incite any crime, riot of this degree that happened. they're supposed to defend this country. It's never been heard of in this country until it was the first time. And it could be the first time in the whole world, Mr. Prime Minister, with the greatest respect. There must be something cooking in the disciplinary forces of this country. There must be. It could be a tip of the iceberg. When the three disciplinary forces join together to rebel against the government of this country. And Mr. Prime Minister, I concur with you that you're going to call an inquiry to be headed by the High Court judge to investigate the cause of this riot. But, Mr. Prime Minister, I want to ask you with greatest respect, can you extend your terms of reference so that you look into the cause of this riot by the representative of the disciplinary forces in this country, so that this country knows, this country will know what was the reason that the three representatives of three disciplinary forces in this country came together to cause riot, which has never happened in the history of this country.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I want to thank the Governor for asking important questions that assist us in shepherding this conversation in the right place. The Commission of Inquiry we establishing by a judge would go in and look at police force in totality. I want to also inform everyone, Defence Force was not engaged in this one, although there may have been some element of members of the Defence who came out on their own, but the Defence Force leadership in the two bases here in the city, in NCD, was not engaged or involved in this one. There must also have been some element in the correctional service people. The investigation will affirm, but correctional services is not directly involved in this one. What happened on the 10th was the drop or absence of command in the Metropolitan Command here in the city, and the two leadership of the Metropolitan Command stood watch when when police were not at work. And so I was there in the Manasupe house, my office on the 10th floor, when the office was almost attacked or under attack. Defence Force wanted to come in to nullify the situation. I called the acting commander, you will not bring in your soldiers in, stay away from this, we will handle it in a manner outside of calling defense to handle this one. I could have used the defense to come in. Thank God, wisdom prevailed and the Defence Force was not asked. I asked them to be stationed at the city and city hall and up there at the city hall area, and I told the defense acting commander, never will you come in the crossfire, and the police will respond to it. And the police eventually, common sense prevailed, and they withdrew those few who tried to make an attempt into Manasupe House. And I want to inform our country, January 6, 2021, January 6, 2021, the most safest building on the face of planet Earth, White House, was attacked. January 6, 2021, the most safest building on the face of planet Earth, White House, was attacked. So, you know, we had our moments. I want to assure everyone, we will not take this lightly. We'll get into fixing police discipline, soldier discipline, ensuring that discipline is restored. The Commission of Inquiry will look deeper into the root cause. The police investigation will run to establish what has happened. The indication of additional influences, side influences, backdoor influences, and all this will be looked into in totality. The better outcome in this work is to ensure we create a modern, stronger, better police force, not just in the city, but right across our country. Thank you.
The Honourable Governor for Manus.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Question not from me without notice by the law. Minister of Higher Education, and Sports. Question blomi also tete. I'm all sumatin blomi now igulo colleges, all go universities. Tete all work register. And noting that 80% long all mangi blomi when now all go college and universities all come online lo place. Or rural people. Online we're passing the time school PE hard. And the colleges and schools, universities, all work asking all of time 75% before all even register. And imagine him, all school fees now in illegally 15,000, 20,000. How about you expect him? Majority of mangi me by attending colleges at this time all colleges, the university, they put him up to 75%, all he must pay him before he attending class. You remember Isavi Halibim, all provinces, all districts, you meet Isavi Halibim. But imagine him on small accounts, play me close it, or government close it. And then eventually around March, plenty of all provinces too, give him yet. Present in budget play. And imagine in March, and in April, he makes him some on money. Now, on Monday, by go school, but we said he help him more. Minister question from me this plan. We got something you now working. Lo make sure this plan can pass in, lo krangi must stop. He must stop. Just because you all teachers, all lecturers, we stop, you like it's in pay. You like thing online lo place it's in pay. You try and go stop lo place, you try and apply me. Minister, me like him on behalf of all people blame me. You must make it this plaharia. Whenever you walk in, whether you got some less strong, stop where you can talk along or stop in this passing, or how by come out. Because me sabe, you more get a member now, start a big pressure, or how by me help you more mangi blame. Or parents blame me, stop one day, me all same person. And only genuine. Because it's so difficult law, pay school pay at this time. Me not hamama sabashim put him all pay in 10 in subjects or something much reasonable. But 70% all happiness. Na time you member help me more. School happiness. Or mangi no Mongolo school. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Sport.
Acting Speaker, Deputy Speaker, me not him this last question come lo governor me one block question when me kiss him long this week na last week too long ogada papa mama or students too. Now me instructing department lo giving me brief long as to how government can intervene lo this circumstances. So I think by me tomorrow kiss him with a report where me talking about together good and me come give him comprehensive response long. This is a very important issue I'm raising because suppose me talk nothing low here. I am report but not with me losing utility belong. This is a report on me asking what walking belong address him. This is a very issue that they may raise him. 70% school fee or tuition fee you pay him. Like I'm school or going to the university and me challenge all parents who face him, students who face him. And by me address him good. Thank you, Acting Speaker. Tomorrow.
The Honorable Governor for ECPIC.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. My question without notice is directed to the Prime Minister simply because I'm not sure which minister should be answering this particular one. And by way of preface, I have asked this question many times in government caucus without receiving a response, and therefore I'd like to ask the Prime Minister a series of questions. Number one, Prime Minister, could you tell the people of Papua New Guinea how many Papua New Guineans are currently unemployed, particularly long-term unemployed? My second question do you have any idea how many jobs we currently have? If you could inform the House and of course the people of Papua New Guinea. Would you be able to tell the House, my third question, how many jobs were in existence when you became Prime Minister? And it is now 4.5, almost 5 years you've been Prime Minister. Could you tell the people of Papua New Guinea in these 4.5 years, how many jobs has the government created for our people? Are you able to tell the House, my fourth question, if there are jobs created, which sectors were these jobs created in?
Honorable Governor, for his speak. Honorable Member for Wapenamanda, I think I had the point of order from the Minister, so I'll allow the Minister to raise a first point of order. Honorable Member, you will resume your seat. I will allow the Minister to raise the first point of order.
Speaker, through you, these are very intelligent, good questions. I respect those questions, but I think the questions should be asked to the Minister who has been charged the appropriate responsibility to answer questions like how many people are being employed, in what sector, what area, or how many will be employed within the next 5 or 10 years. That question could be asked to the Minister for Labor and Employment.
Order.
Mr. Acting Speaker, the question could be asked to the Labor of Employment.
Order.
Labor of Employment. The Prime Minister, any Prime Minister delegated,
Order.
the Minister responsible.
The Speaker will make a ruling on the point of order. So, honorable members, allow the Minister to...
No. Speaker, see, ministers are there to answer detailed questions. The question the Honorable Governor is asking a detailed, therefore, the detailed Minister, Labour should answer the question. Thank you.
Order. Honorable members, allow the Speaker to make a ruling on the point of order. Honorable Minister, your point of order, I will rule that point of order out of order. You all know very clearly that many times when the honorable member asking a question to the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of all ministers, and it at his own discretion to ask a question direct to the Prime Minister, he has the prerogative to ask. So, Honorable Minister, I rule that point of order out of order. The Honorable...
It's been a while since we've had this much excitement on the floor. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Mr. Acting Speaker, I think the question of jobs is so critical to a country, any decent country in the world.
Honorable Governor, you now have another point of order, so I'll allow the member for Wapenamanda to raise your point of order.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Some of us parliamentarians are sitting here like deaf without this piece not working. Thank you.
Okay, honorable member, I think I should have allowed that point of order come first. But since then you have allowed that, honorable Governor, you will hold on to your question. I'll ask the clerks to check on the earpiece sound, if our system... Honorable members, the message has been relayed to the technician to look into this, and they will address that. And I'll allow the question time to continue, so I'll allow the Governor to complete your question.
Yeah, I regrettably, Mr. Speaker, plan is something lo country bagrapna. All earpiece to bagrap, it is being very consistent with everything else that walk lo bagrap. So my apologies, good member.
Honorable members, this is your parliament. This is your parliament. Honorable Governor, raise your question in regard to what you have raised, not on what it is happening here. It will be corrected. Thank you.
The question of jobs in any decent country is quite critical, and therefore I think it should be front and center of the policies of any decent professional government, Mr. Acting Speaker. So to continue, and suppose me abrus liglik me come back in, could the good Prime Minister inform the House which sectors has there been jobs growth, number one, and which provinces are these jobs in? My final question, the Pangu government has promised the people of Papua New Guinea 1 million jobs by 2027. So, by my calculation, we should have at least 400,000 of those jobs by the end of this year. So, could the good Prime Minister inform the people of Papua New Guinea exactly where the government expects these jobs to be, so that at least all our children who are struggling to pay school fees can direct their focus towards those particular provinces where those jobs are going to be? And finally, how long do they have to wait for? Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I'm just so happy that we have excitement finally in the House. Maybe on this side it was very boring for some, my brother Governor Baird and others, so they decided to go on the other side. So it's good that they found excitement. And I want to answer his question by starting in this manner. This is a pertinent question, important question, or a series of questions that has been asked. And I will have a detailed response, if not tomorrow, and on Thursday. But I want to, Mr. Acting Speaker, to ask the Governor to put his fingers on 2019 statistics before I took office. And I'll bring him statistics in terms of the number of jobs he wants per people employed to this House, if not tomorrow, on Thursday or on Friday. When we get this record sorted out once and for all, instead of all the hype in the public spaces. Jobs in our country has been minimal since 1975. If you want me to dig into history, name me one government that has substantially created jobs in our country. Name me this. We have been producing more school dropouts in our country than employment in our country. That is why when we took office, this Pangu administration took office, we put in place a focus on second chance education for school dropouts to come back into school. That's why when we took office, we put freight support for our commodity programs, commodity crops nationwide. That's why when we took office, we put price support when price fails. That's why when we took office, we put SME Intervention Fund program. No government before our time has ever put into these programs. Mr. Acting Speaker, you can open 10 mines tomorrow. You know how much they will create in the employment space? Just ask PNG LNG. Right now they're employing not more than 1,000. Not more than 1,000. That is why we said we will create 1 million jobs in this MTD4. Mr. Speaker, as every government and opposite differs on definition, my definition of job differs from the governor of ECP. My definition of job is economically active and engaged Papua New Guineans. Not sitting behind a job desk from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 4 or 6, or from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That strategy has not unbundled Papua New Guinea from its fullest potential. Mr. Acting Speaker, that is the reason why I had to let go of my brother Richard Maru and supported Governor Baird for a 300 million Kina project in ECP. That is the reason. Simple as that. It's not about putting men behind the desk job. Of course, that is the work in progress for us. I will make a detail. If he wants statistics of how many people are employed right now, put your finger on 2019. And I'll make reference to what employment was before 2019 and what employment is today. I'll bring it to you in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or 2 or 3 days. But the point is, Mr. Acting Speaker, even if you open up 10 gold mines, 10 gold mines will not employ over 200,000 young Papua New Guineans coming out of school system, grade 8 dropouts, grade 10 dropouts, grade 12 dropouts, university dropouts. Ask member for Yalu Pangia, suddenly your friend now. What has he done in the last time?
Order. Order. Honorable member for Yalibu Pangia, you have a point of order. What's your point of order?
My point of order is this. Of course, the Prime Minister likes making reference to me, and I appreciate that. And I thank him for it too, yeah, thank you, for constantly reminding the nation that I'm around. But let me say this. It is the Prime Minister himself who made a commitment to the nation that he will provide and create 1 million jobs. The governor is simply asking him a question that how far have you provided 1 million jobs? That's all he's asking. Stop blaming people, and we will provide you 2019 data. We'll provide you that. But answer the question, where are the 1 million jobs? And tell the Prime Minister, all this youth, he asked them if they're looking for a job to call him. How many youth has he called and how many jobs has he provided? Stop misleading the House and stop misleading the country. Thank you.
Honorable member for Yalibu Pangia, I will rule the point of order out of order. Allow the Prime Minister, I think the Prime Minister have already made a statement clear that he will report to the Parliament on detail on what you have raised. So I'll allow the Prime Minister to complete his reply.
I'm really super excited and super charged up now, so I'm just so happy, Mr. Acting Speaker. But as I was saying earlier, our definition of job differs from the opposite. Their definition of job is someone sitting behind 8 to 4, 7 to 5. That's okay, we'll create that space too. But we want to empower Papua New Guineans who own land, who own land in our country, to go back into economic activities so they can take control of their own destiny. That's where the 1 million jobs will come from. That's where the 1 million jobs will come from. That's where the focus on downstream processing will create a value-added job in our country. And so we think at the different levels, Mr. Acting Speaker. They think the job they've been trained to go and find job when they come out of university, that's a level of thinking. We're thinking about economic empowerment of our citizens. And I'm here to find out about the 300 million kina I facilitated to ECPIC. If people are now engaged in agricultural productivity in ECPIC, that's happy for me.
Honorable Prime Minister, we have a point of order. Governor of ECPIC.
Can I just make a point of order to say that the Prime Minister is actually in charge of the Department of National Planning, which oversees this particular project. So for him to ask myself as governor, the project is not run by the ECPIC provincial government, of which I am responsible for. It is run through the European Union program under the Department of National Planning. So I suggest that if he wants a report as to the performance of that particular program, he should look no further than our good minister, the Honorable Anopala, for a response. Thank you.
The Honorable Governor, the Prime Minister is responding on a question that you have raised and referred to what he have commanded. And your point of order is like making a statement in correction to what the Prime Minister have said. So I will rule your point of order out of order, and I will let the Prime Minister to.
I'll end here, but I just want to give assurance to the governor. Good questions he's asked. This deserves a statistics-based reply. He asked to receive the statistics, but on the principle of our policy orientations, our focus on this side is not just a day job, but we want to empower people to be economically participating in our country. That is where we could mobilize greater amount instead of just next 5 years focus on putting people behind a paid desk. I will report to him, and I ask this Parliament, my statistics will start before 2019 and after 2019 so the country knows exactly what is happening. Our fiscal intervention is all about creating job creation in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Governor for Southern Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It's good that it's getting exciting, and for the first session of Parliament,
I also want to ask a very serious question that has been hitting the social media news. And this blah, me like directing question from me go along Minister Blow Wax. And you must talk straight, talk along people, whether all talk department blow you pay 3.5 billion contract long roads inside the connect PNGM true or not? Because I mean this is hitting the social media news and not saying it out is not good for this country. Me not think I'm true, but the most relevant agency long managing contract na talk out department law works. So I'm true or not? Because there's a lot of allegations in the social media. That's the first question. Number two, can you provide a detailed statement to Parliament on all this so that the people are clear, we are aware? Number three, only Togos and Fobla contractors belong to Southern Highlands. Now me, Governor Lohapia, me, feeling good. Because I'm not consulted. So am I true or no God? Me have a long road contract from Mendi to Hela. It's a national highway where the whole government system is clear. So I'm aware of that. So tell the people whether this blame true or no God. This is a Fobla contractors. Number four question. I think some long this companies kiss him contract yeah long 1.5 Southern Highlands. Only Burkim Bridge, the whole community fought against. Now the governor, you come explain how you government will give him contract. And there was a massive destruction in one part of my electorate or province. If it is true that also this will contract go, me Pablo province tab here, Pablo government. Respect, have some courtesy. Do the right things. So me like a Minister Blow works, and I'm not afraid to say that in the interest of the nation. I think you must talk straight. As son of him, this blow report, if this blow question me, ask him for blow. If I blow question him, big blow too much, you can task him department now, tell him detailed report instead of, spreading can talk yaman or talk rumor. I don't think this 3.5 billion is true. But instead of others taking advantage of this, I want to put it on record so that country can look him that clear. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Works. Through you, Speaker, me through like Kisim Splatam, lot of thank you, Lord. Governor long Southern Islands, long give him some good question, long connect PNG, long. A few weeks ago, he got big plus talk long. All contracts, ego long all contractors want them big plus money. Me like making this plus talk or some all detailed statement by me, ministerial statement by me making lo tomorrow. Long give him all the this plus misinformation. Na talk out lo country. One of them is straight blood talk. Also, a few days ago too, me reporting some misinformation too. Now me got all information over the ME staff. So tomorrow by me follow statement from me, now by me give him all the talk blood display 3.5 billion, color one blood contractor, now display me untrue. Now all this blood talk. By me making it tomorrow, long value long all contract, where all NPCs have given. Now when me plan, workers have pay all contractors according long all invoices. Now I must plan money me plan pay finish long 8 plan money or finish. Now I must plan contract value stability long me plan pay. All phases plan phase 1, phase 2, now phase 3 let's plan connect PNG. All that this plan by me making it tomorrow. Plus statement blow me. Long reporting this misleading information. Na me opinions lo media na me talk out lo this blog talk. No go one contractor you can kiss him 3.5
billion contract lo one time. So he got all statement belong, all this misleading information where all Excel spreadsheet as all put you on top. But me a report belong all IFMS system, all check printed out, approved checks. Now all payments paid out, me got this plot to stuff. So me talk out, we need to cite them wrong, now cite them right. So me plenty will use him this plot long. I say plain lyric politics from me plan. But politics is not outside. We vote for government on the floor. So tomorrow by me, give him all that display, statement, ministerial statement, want them all that all correct figures, all workman from me work now. Miss Awesome the question by comes on me ready. Tomorrow by me give ministerial statement. Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable member for Yalibu Pangia, I'm sorry to stop you that our question time have already lapsed.
Relevant. It's not a new question. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important program. This is an important program.
Honorable member for Yalibu Pangia, I will ask you to reserve your question. I will give you a chance to ask that question tomorrow on the first question time when Parliament resumes tomorrow. Our question time has lapsed. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Acting Speaker, before me, moving one or two motions below me like on behalf of people below me. Salim Toksore below. People below Finchafen, family below me, along people below Usino Bundi, family, immediate family members, electorate supporters, everyone where the sudden loss of our leader were passed, Mila placed him on record. Toksore was a fellow colleague and said Laos, so it would be better of me if I stand up and I don't acknowledge his contribution to this government. Thank you. Mr. Acting Speaker, I ask leave a motion, Parliament to move a motion without notice, please.
Is leave granted? Honorable Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I move that so much of the standing orders be suspended as would prevent me from moving a motion for the discharge and appointment of Assistant Speaker and a member of the Parliamentary Committee on Private Business and Chairman of Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I move that A, Mr. Johnson Wapunda be discharged as Assistant Speaker and that Mr. Jacob Maki be appointed Assistant Speaker. B, Mr. Alan Bird be discharged as member of Private Business Committee and Mr. Chris Iveta be appointed member of committee. C, Mr. Elias Kapavori be appointed Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee respectfully.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honorable members, I wish to inform the Parliament that today, 13 February 2024, at 1:45 p.m. at the Speaker's Lounge of the National Parliament, I have received a notice of motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, member for Taripori Open. As we are aware, there is a process that must be complied with the Section 145 of the Constitution and Standing Order and recent Supreme Court decisions. The notice of motion of no confidence is a matter of national importance and will take its precedence in the private business day. Before that happens, it must be placed on the notice paper for the minimum of 7 days. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the Private Business Committee will meet to clear the notice of motion of no confidence based on the technical requirements of Section 145 of the Constitution and the standing orders. Once the notice of motion of no confidence is cleared by the committee, It will be given to the clerk for reporting to Parliament. After the clerk reports the notice of no confidence motion to Parliament, it will be placed on the notice paper and appear of the notice paper the next sitting day. The notice of the motion of no confidence will be on the notice paper for a minimum of 7 days before it can consider on private business day as required under Section 145 of the Constitution. Thank you, honorable members. Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Acting Speaker, I like to thank you, Lord. Members, opposition side, me, I also look him, chair blow, opposition leader, stop clear through, so me congratulate him too. Lo ating work with him, all opposition members. People line too, people look forward to a very fruitful debate this week and next week. I want to Islam, Mr. Speaker, me like move us me Jenim. Parliament go tomorrow 10 a.m. Thank you.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honorable members, I now adjourn Parliament to tomorrow 10 o'clock a.m.